Welcome, everyone. Whether you're a fan of superheroes or just curious about the wonders of science, you're in for something special today. Imagine soaring through the skies like Superman, running faster than the speed of sound like the Flash, or even bending time itself like Doctor Strange. These powers seem like pure fantasy, but could they actually exist? Today, we're going to break down the science behind some of the most iconic superpowers from comic books and movies. We'll explore the physics of flight, how birds and planes fly, and whether we could ever do the same. We'll look at super strength, asking if human muscles could ever be enhanced to match the Hulk's. What about speed? Could we run at lightning speeds without breaking the laws of physics? And then there's invisibility. How far are we from making objects or even people disappear from sight? Finally, we'll dive into one of the most mind bending questions of all: time travel. Is it just science fiction, or could it actually be possible according to modern physics? Superheroes have inspired generations, and while we may not have capes or costumes, we do have science. So let's dive in and see how close we are to turning these extraordinary powers into real life possibilities. Now let's talk about flying. It's probably the most popular superpower, and who wouldn't want to soar through the sky like Superman? But how does flight actually work? In the real world, flight is all about lift, drag, and thrust. Birds and planes fly by generating lift, which pushes them upwards. When air flows over the wings, the difference in air pressure gives them the boost they need to stay in the air. Superheroes like Superman, well, he just skips all that physics. No wings, no thrust, he just floats. But could humans ever fly? Kind of. We're not going to develop wings anytime soon, but jetpacks, that's more realistic. Jetpacks use thrust to push against the ground, generating enough lift to get you airborne, just like Iron Man's suit. It's not exactly as smooth as Superman's flight, but hey, it's a start. In the end, while we may not be flying unaided like our favorite superheroes, science has brought us pretty close with jet technology and advanced suits. Who knows? Maybe with a bit more research, we'll all be taking to the skies soon enough. Now, on to super strength. Think of characters like the Hulk or Wonder Woman, effortlessly lifting massive objects and smashing through walls. But in reality, just how strong can humans get? Human muscles are powerful, but they have limits. Strength is all about the amount of force muscles can generate. The average person can lift a decent amount, but even the strongest humans are nowhere near the level of superheroes. But that's where science steps in. Scientists and engineers are already developing exoskeletons, wearable machines that can dramatically increase strength. These robotic suits can enhance muscle power, making it easier to lift heavy loads. Soldiers and workers in fields like construction or manufacturing could use them to boost their strength, kind of like an Iron Man suit, but focused on lifting power. So while we won't be lifting cars over our heads anytime soon like the Hulk, the idea of super strength isn't entirely far-fetched. Technology is pushing the limits of what humans can do, and in a few years we may all be much stronger than we think, thanks to science. Next up, super speed. Think of the Flash, racing across cities in the blink of an eye. But is it possible for humans to ever reach those kinds of speeds? Let's break it down. In the real world, the fastest humans can run at speeds of around 28 miles per hour, far slower than the speeds you'd need to outrun cars or zip through cities like the Flash. The main obstacle here is air resistance. The faster you move, the more drag you face, making it harder to accelerate further. But what if we could reduce this resistance or enhance human bodies to tolerate extreme speeds? It turns out we're already working on technologies like superfast vehicles and robotic enhancements that push the limits of speed. But there's a catch. If you approach speeds that rival the speed of sound or even light, things get complicated. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, time actually slows down as you get closer to the speed of light. So while we might not reach flash-like speeds on foot, the science of speed is still fascinating and full of potential breakthroughs. Who knows? With enough research and the right technology, maybe we'll all be racing into the future sooner than we think. Now let's talk about invisibility. Imagine walking into a room and vanishing from sight like the invisible woman. Sounds like pure fantasy, right? But is it really impossible? Invisibility comes down to how light interacts with objects. When light hits an object, it either reflects off, gets absorbed, or passes through. If we could bend or redirect light around an object, it would essentially become invisible. And guess what? Scientists are already working on this. There's something called metamaterials, specially engineered materials that can bend light in unnatural ways. Think of them as the building blocks for invisibility cloaks. These materials can manipulate light to flow around an object, making it disappear to the naked eye. We're still in the early stages, but there have been successful experiments, especially in making small objects appear invisible. So while we're not quite at Harry Potter's invisibility cloak level yet, the science is catching up. In the near future, we might have cloaking technology for the military, or who knows, maybe we'll all be able to vanish into thin air one day. Time travel, it's one of the most mind-bending superpowers. From Doctor Strange manipulating time to the Flash traveling through different timelines, it's the ultimate fantasy. But could time travel ever be possible? In real world science, time travel is actually more grounded in physics than you might think. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, time isn't fixed, it's relative. The faster you move, the slower time passes for you. This effect is called time dilation, and it's been proven with astronauts in space. The closer you get to the speed of light, the more noticeable the time difference becomes. Then there's the concept of wormholes, theoretical tunnels through space-time that could connect two distant points in space or even different moments in time. In theory, if we could find or create a stable wormhole, it could be used as a shortcut through time. But before you get your hopes up, we are still a long way from turning time travel into reality. For now, it remains a fascinating topic of research in theoretical physics. Still, who knows? As our understanding of space and time grows, we might get closer to unlocking the secrets of time travel. And there you have it, the science behind some of our favorite superpowers. From flying and super strength to invisibility, speed, and even time travel, we've explored how physics is pushing the boundaries of what's possible. While we may not be able to leap tall buildings or bend time just yet, the progress being made in science and technology is astounding. What was once only imaginable in comic books and movies is slowly becoming a part of our reality. The future of superpowers might just lie in the hands of scientists, engineers, and dreamers like you. So, whether you're inspired by science or just love the idea of superhero powers, remember that curiosity is the first step toward discovering the impossible. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the physics of superpowers. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Who knows, maybe one day we'll all be flying or zipping through time. Until then, keep dreaming, keep exploring, and I'll see you in the next video.